Morning, y'all. It is a very, very wet day here in South Alabama, and it has been a minute. Uh, it's been quite a while since the last video, and I'm gonna. I'd like to give y'all the full disclosure. So I had hinted around, speaking on some videos about uh, some family issues popping up. The fact of the matter is I was looking after my nephew. He was living with me. Y'all saw him on a video or two. And he's hitting puberty. And he has quite a lot of mental and behavioral issues. And to put it in the nicest way possible, not pointing fingers at nobody, but I was the only person who had the time, effort, and well, the effort was the big thing, really, to try to keep him out of uh, out of behavioral centers, out try to get him shooting straight, and it fell apart. Frankly, life here fell apart. I put on a brave face for a lot of them videos. I was at my wit's end. There's just not doing anything with them that I could do, and I ended up leaving for a while. I moved. I moved in with somebody about an hour and a half. Somebody I knew. About an hour and a half off because I had to have that separation. Um, it's I'm back here now, back at my house. I've moved back in yesterday. My nephew is currently at a behavioral center and is not looking like he's coming home anytime soon. I'm glad that he is getting help that they say he needs. I have my issues with our modern medical system, but I don't know that I could do any better by him. I did the best I could, and it wasn't working out. So I got back here, and again, I put on a brave face for y'all. I won't lie that my house was and currently still is. I spent all morning cleaning. It's been pretty blame disgusting. It had become definitely a depression den. Y'all were only seeing the workshop out here and carefully framed videos. It was a mess. It still is a mess. I'm just kind of going room by room. Got my bedroom sorted for the most part. I'm working on my living room, dining room, spare bedroom is going to get turned into a workshop, kitchen. We're working on it. But so something that I considered and something I've been considering for a long time, and it's scary to take the leap sometimes, but I figured take a bad situation and turn it into an opportunity. So when I left, power and water shut off. And I can go back up, have it cut back on, that's fine. But I've always wanted to get as off grid as possible. So I said, well, why don't we just see how it can go? See how well we can do with what we got. Now I got to have my phone because I make my living off of my Etsy store, which you can check out a link in. It's in the description of every video. I sure would appreciate that. But I got to run my Etsy store, so I had to have enough electricity for running my phone. Well, that was easy. I went to Walmart. I bought a $10 car charger and a $10 power bank, and that's all I needed. I was good. My phone since hasn't dropped below 80%. They're great. All right. Next thing. So I inherited this house. There's enough stuff still in this house, and this is after, kind of dividing stuff up. There's enough stuff in this house to 8 people, and it's just me. So massive cleaning out, massive cleaning out and downsizing. And that's one of the first things I wanted to discuss because I wanted to bring y'all along this journey with me of being off grid, getting off grid, roughing it at first. But you start baby steps. Okay, right now I've got water. I can get water. I've already built a composting toilet. I've discussed those on the channel a few times anyway. Well, I deleted a bunch of old videos. Um, I make planters out of compost buckets, and I plant things that tend to come back. Like I have one right here that's chives. I've had these same chives in this compost bucket for years, years and years. Um, but so set up compost bucket, compost toilet. Cool. I got a place to do my business. Um, I have the means to boil water. As of right now, as far as my cooking goes, I'm running off a fire. Cool. I've got a big old barbecue grill. That's easy. Like it is raining. That's on my front porch. I can just fire up the barbecue grill. And you can put a pot or pan on the barbecue grill. You can just grill on the grill. Doesn't matter. Cool. So what we're going to discuss in this very first video is buying groceries and feeding yourself in this sort of starting over off-grid situation. I thought might be helpful for people who, times are hard. People are having to make do with less than we have in quite a long time in this country. So, again, in the spirit of downsizing, what do we need? All right, I have all my knives and stuff, all my woodland stuff. I got cutlery. Cool. I got way too many pots, way too many pans. Don't need that much, because that's the thing when you're doing this is how do I minimize the amount of time, effort, money, energy that I'm expending cleaning up after regular things. When you can't just turn on a faucet and there ain't hot water, that means every time I do dishes, I've got to take a bowl of pot of water. So you want to downsize as much as you can. Now, this wouldn't be for everybody necessarily, but as y'all know, I'm a swamp young and I stay outside quite a lot. So I have here a little camp cook set. I like my cast iron, but we'll get to that later. So all this is, you can buy these. These are like $5, $6 at Walmart. It's a little metal bowl. Needs cleaning, obviously. It's a little metal bowl, a little metal pot with a lid, and a skillet, and with a simple trivet, with that lid, lock that down. All of a sudden, with a simple trivet, this becomes a Dutch oven. So I can now fry, saute, boil, and bake. Just that simple. Also, just want to show y'all this just because I thought it was neat. By the way, it does all just nest together very easily. And for one person, that's plenty. If I want to go camping, hunting, whatever, stick that in the backpack. I also bought this in the camping section lately. They had a pile of these on sale for 75 cents, and I thought it'd be a good little thing to keep along with that. It's a pair of tongs like this, and they flip around to be full-size tongs. Obviously, that's for cooking, but just to be honest, like if you really wanted to, you could use this just to eat with too, save a dish. But so there we go. Again, I have cutlery and stuff, and if need be, I can get out here and I can forge new cutlery. I could make some out of wood. I could carve some, and we'll be discussing that sort of thing. But so we have our heat source. As of right now, it's fire. I am going to be getting a little butane, little Coleman stove. Those are wonderful. I have a big propane burner out here that I could take, like, a big cast iron pot, and I can make a big old pot of whatever. I have the big cooker pot somewhere here. It's a big fish fryer is what it is. But butane, propane, great options. You can get a butane stove that's just a little one burner like the unit on your regular stove. Takes a little can of butane. One can of that butane lasts about an hour. Maybe a little bit more on high. You can get the stove and a can of butane for $23 for tax where I live. So not a big deal. But so let's talk about groceries. The big thing that's the immediate adjustment is you don't go to the refrigerated and freezer sections. You don't even touch it. If something has to be cooled off in the store, you're not cooling off at your house right now. Again, this is an overtime thing. Right now, we don't have refrigeration. So We don't buy refrigerated things. Now, in the coming months, I'm hooking this house up to solar, and we're going to do a bunch of videos on hooking it up to solar. It's not that hard anymore. It's not difficult to do. But so that's goal number one right there, is we're going to get this house hooked up to solar to where I have a big chest freezer. I can get that chest freezer running, still kind of buy groceries this way, but be able to put up more meat. So what this is a pile of groceries that will cover basic needs for a little bit. And of course, you know my channel, we are also supplementing with wild foods, with wild meats, with fish, with any manner of it. It's March here right now. It's late March. Everything is exploding with greens and edible plants and stuff, and it's getting into mushroom season here. It's about to be 95 here very soon. But so, how do we manage without that? Well, first, let's talk filling up our gut, your starches. Believe it or not, I ain't got a bag of rice right here. I didn't buy any right now just because I didn't feel like using extra fuel to boil rice at the moment. We're going quick and easy at the moment. So what's quick and easy? Well, first off, stuff you ain't got to cook at all. Crackers. These last a lot longer than a loaf of bread, and it serves the same purpose basically. And keeping in mind that we're eating to live right now. For the same cost or a similar cost, I think crackers go a lot further than buying bread itself. For something quick, I ain't got to turn anything on. All I got to do is get something to put on these. I can't just eat these. Get something to put on them, and I have a meal. Doesn't go bad. There's a reason that we used hardtack instead of like soft bread for so many years. That's what crackers are. It's hardtack. Cool. Ain't got to do nothing with that. Also, we need vitamins and nutrients. We need something fresh. Whatever's cheap in your area. So groceries do vary. For my area, you can't get cheaper than Nanners. This was not $1, and this is 2 to 4 meals right here. Just get a banana, especially if it's supplemental with something else. Everybody's struggle buddy, good old top ramen. You can live on these. A lot of people do. The big thing that I think that, and it's more common now than it used to be, but the big thing to keep in mind is these are so easy to dress up, both with store-bought foods and wild foods. Pack of this ramen noodles, everybody's made these, you boil up the noodles, cool. You ain't even got to properly boil them. You can boil water and pour them on top of the noodles and they will cook. But, say I have some jerky, or like a Jack Link's, like one of them little snack summer sausages. All right, I can slice that up, throw that in the pot with that. I have like noodles with meat now. Say I pick some mushrooms. Mushrooms go great in noodles, and you can cook almost any wild mushroom goes great in like a soup type setting. Cool. Again, like fish, wild meats, almost anything. I probably wouldn't put berries and stuff in here. Wild greens go great in this. You can do a lot with this. This is just your filler, basically. And again, I bought this at Dollar Tree, and I spent too much on this. This was $1.50 for 5 packs. You can get them cheaper than that. All right. Again, filling our guts up. Let's have some breakfast. $2. Jim Dandy Quick Grits. Buy the quick grits. If you buy just regular grits, they take longer to cook. These are, it says, quick 5-minute grits. This is a mess of meals. This is breakfast. This is supper. This is lunch. You can put anything on a bed of grits as far as I'm concerned. That's just me being from, the deep south and, down here in Cajun country and stuff like that. We like to put stuff on either rice or grits. Like it works. Make a stew of some kind, stick it on top of here. Or just season them. Speaking of seasoning, well, no, the one more filler item. Again, I could have bought a thing of rice. Didn't want to fool with cooking rice right now. You can buy parboiled rice that does cook quicker. I don't like it very much. But, talking about quick, instant mashed taters. $1.25, and this will last me 5 meals. This is 5 suppers when supplemented with something else. Easily. So, talking about seasoning, in this kind of situation, I like a seasoning blend. And y'all know me. Don't let nobody fool you. I know a lot of people, you get on Instagram, you get on TikTok, whatever, and everybody who does, this kind of food, is sponsored by like Cajun Two Stay Up and Slap Your Mama and all them. Louisiana fish fry brand. Same brand as the little blue bags fish fry. $2, and it is as fine of a Cajun seasoning as any one you'll find. This is my favorite one. This $2 thing of seasoning, it seasons everything. It has all of my herbs, all my spices, has my salt in it. Anything I make, hit it with a little Cajun, we're good. You get yourself a bottle of Crystal to go with that, which once again does not need refrigeration. You're in business. And some of the last I was going to talk about was supplementing our proteins. Okay, we're talking a lot about wild foods, and we need protein. We need, like, I work. I have a physical job. I need that protein. I need, to fuel my body. Okay, so what are we doing? We're looking at canned foods for that. Canned foods, again, we're not going to the freezer section right now. We ain't got no way to keep it. Like, I could go buy, if I went and bought a pack of chicken, I would have to buy a little bitty pack of chicken and cook it then and eat it then. Not to say I'm not going to do that. Nothing wrong with that. But just buying groceries to keep on hand while you got other stuff going on, this is what we're talking about. And we're talking about canned meats. Everybody's fishing snack. Wiener sausages. These are very cheap. It's like 60 cents a can. You can take, and like I was saying, take this can, cut each one of these in about thirds, stick it in a pack of ramen noodles. That's supper. That'll keep you going. Take them out of the can, put them in that little frying pan, fry them off, hit them with a little seasoning if you want to, stick it on top of that bowl of mashed taters. You got supper. Or again, if we're feeling like we don't want to go through the trouble of starting a fire, as I'm about to do, or we don't want to waste our butane or propane or whatever we're cooking on, that's the combination. Same thing basically with this. This is super unhealthy. This stuff is not good for you, but I do enjoy it, so I thought I'd mention it because it is very cheap. Again, you got crackers, you got bread, good old potted meat. Some people like the deviled ham, deviled roast beef and all that. I like good old just potted meat. It is chicken, pork added, and this is a better one than some of the ones you buy have tripe in them too, which I don't mind tripe, but either way, if you haven't had this, it's pate. It's a meat spread. But again, with a pack of crackers, half a sleeve of crackers, and one can of this, and that's lunch. Like, it's got protein in it. It's gonna keep you going if you like this stuff. A lot of people don't. You also have to buy to your taste. Which, speaking of, I'm a just fiend for tinned seafood. My grandpa, that was what he would always bring on the boat when we were fishing, and he got me doing it. Sardines, kippers, stuff like that. And like, I have a couple of cans. They come in different sauces, different flavors. You can just buy the ones in water, or the best ones just to cook into something else. Because once again, open up a can of sardines, hit them with a little seasoning in a skillet or something like that. Put them on top of them noodles. Put them in that bowl of mashed taters. Put it on top of them grits. Whatever it may be. I tend to buy a lot of these ones. This is Beach Cliff. You can get different brands, but the ones that are already in hot sauce, ain't got to do nothing to them. Again, get half a sleeve of crackers. You got supper. Easy and cheap. A whole meal in a can can be a little more expensive, considering that it's everything in one. You kind of got to look out. Like a trap that I was trying to fall into is I like canned chili a lot. Canned chili is a good meal. It's kind of expensive for what it is. But I found it's SkettyOs. It's Great Value Band SkettyOs. These are 98 cents. That's a meal. That's a big meal. That is a hearty meal. It's almost 400 calories. It has 17 grams protein in it. Like, that's easy. Frankly, ain't got to put this to heat at all. You can just eat this cold. I do it all the time. I probably eat more of these products like this and like the Chef Boyardee raviolis. I've eaten more of them cold than I have hot. But again, you can also doll this up with other stuff if you have it. And the last grocery item that I purchased here, just for, again, quick, easy, and getting that protein in you, not meat, you jar peanut butter. I don't like peanut butter. I'm not a peanut butter eater. But that is part of this whole process, is you adapt. Yeah, I don't want to be eating this. I don't like it. I'm not a peanut butter eater. I know that's blasphemy. I come from peanut country. I like a boiled peanut. I like a roasted peanut. I'm not a big fan of peanut butter. But that being said, this is 14 180 calorie servings. That's a lot of calories for your body. They get you a good tablespoon. A good tablespoon of it, like the serving size is 2 teaspoons. So let's go heavy. Tablespoon of this and a banana, and you got breakfast. Like, and your body will run on that. Um, it's a matter of also figuring out what your body needs, what you like. Part of the reason I went for bananas, number one, they're super cheap. There's stuff that's almost as cheap. I tend towards potassium deficiency, which is very, very common. I tend towards potassium and magnesium deficiency. That gives me some of that I need back in me. And you got to consider that. That's one thing about eating a lot of these prepackaged foods is making sure you actually get some nutrition in. You get your vitamins, you get your minerals. Again, I'm gonna be supplementing this with a ton of wild food. Next video we're gonna do is probably gonna be about water bath canning, wild herbs, wild greens. What you can do with food preservation. We ain't got a refrigerator right now, but if you can can food, you don't need it. People lived off of their canned food. Grandma in the basement with her bunch of mason jars. People live that way for so long, and that's people are making a return to that. You see a lot more about it these days. You got to be safe about it. We're going to talk about being safe about it because you do be seeing people trying to like water bath can, nacho cheese and try to make their own like pickled herring and stuff like that. You can make yourself pretty bad sick that way. It is unlikely, but botulism kills. So you want to be safe about it. I'm blessed enough. I happen to have a pressure canner, which is what you really need. A pressure cooker and a pressure canner are two different things. I happen to be fortunate enough to already have one. It is an investment for like a good big one. Going to be about $100. Worth it. Absolutely worth it. Then you go to the thrift store and get mason jars. You go to Walmart or whatever and get pack rings and lids, and you can put up your food, and it will last. I have food that my great aunt, who I had discussed passing away, she passed away going on 2 years ago, the day before last. She canned food. I think we still have some of her canned food from like the 2000s kicking around. That's still good. But that being said, I want to talk about the budgeting real quick. I know this video has been long-winded. I appreciate y'all sticking with me. Talk about the budgeting with this. This spread of food here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 meals of meat, several breakfast, lunches worth of protein here. Again, it says 14. We're going to say 10. We're going to say 10 servings of protein here. I got a bunch of, it's 5 bananas, so 1 or 2 of those at a time. Again, this says about 12 servings per container. I'm a big fella. This is probably going to be about 5 meals for me, 5 or 6. But that being said, got that 4 sleeves of crackers, and eat about half a sleeve per meal. So that is 8 servings of bread. However many, you get a pile out of these grits. This will last me for the month. And 5 meals of these noodles, and I believe I have $12 on the table. I have $12 on the table if I wasn't getting any wild food. I have $12 here, and that is enough for, as far as, eating well, keeping meat in my system and all that, that's a week. That is a week on $12. So, again, I appreciate y'all sticking with me through this very long coming back video. It's an adventure, y'all. I'm so excited about it. I've been wanting to get this house hooked up to solar for years. Don't know why I hadn't already done it, but that's part of the thing. You get complacent. You get comfortable. Comfortable is not good. Comfortable will make you, take things for granted. And the way the world is at the moment, anything can be took away like that, That's part of the reason that grandma with the basement full of mason jars, she understood how easy the modern convenience can just go away. So ended on a bright note, though. This is exciting. This is cool. This is something I've personally always wanted to do. We are going to be, again, going through the processes of, you start small and you just upgrade and upgrade and upgrade until you have everything you want. That's what you do. You don't try to like. I think that's part of what's intimidating to people is the roughing it part. That like you want to go ahead and like, well, when I can make enough money later on to go ahead and set up everything exactly. And so, it's kind of difficult to get together several $1,000s in this day and age. You start small. I'm starting small. I am blessed enough that I was left a house. I have a house. Starting small with like, battery powered lights and stuff. I didn't bring those out here, but I'm running off of battery powered lights, and I happen to own several oil lanterns. Again, coming from the outdoorsy side. Going to upgrade that to where we're going to have a little bit of solar at first, enough to run some lights and run my freezer. Cool. Let that go a little further. Get what I need. Set up a second solar system. Okay. Now, I have enough electricity for the house at that point. Like anything I'd be running, I can run off that. Which, by the way, when we get to that point, I will probably only have about $400 in the system, and that is for the house. For one person, for me, and again, I kind of rough it, but that is enough for my freezer, my refrigerator, run some lights, maybe run a little fan. It does get hot in South Alabama. We are going to be setting up rainwater catchment and filtration, because again, I got water, but we're gonna see how off grid we can get this, how quickly. I have containers and stuff. We're going to be talking a lot more about the gardening thing. I did mention the composting toilet, and I will discuss how to set up a composting toilet to plant in, because I don't, the way I do it, I don't go through like the big, where you have to have the big tumblers and all that. There's an easier way to do it. But so thank y'all so much for joining me. Again, the past couple of months have been a very tumultuous time in my life. I have missed talking to y'all immensely. If this video doesn't get 20 views, all 20 of y'all, I appreciate y'all so much. And we are going to get to it. We're going to get everything sorted out. And, what's that old saying? To use it up, get it done, make it work or do without, something like that. That's what we're doing. So I appreciate y'all so much. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. I hope I can give y'all some ideas. And I believe I'm going to go inside and have me some lunch. So y'all have a good one.